It's your girl Lex. We are going to talk about makeup brushes today. Brushes. Makeup brushes. And where to find them, what type they are, and what you need to look for. It's your girl Lex. Oh shoot. Big beats on the track. Alright, so here's the lowdown on makeup brushes. They will either make or break your look. You'll either be smearing makeup all over your face, or you'll be putting it right in a precise area on your face. It just kind of depends. So I kind of had to learn the hard way. This is a highlighter brush. And this highlighter brush almost looks like a blending brush. And so what I would try to do is use this brush, put eyeshadow all over my eye, and then wonder why it didn't work out. So how I learned all about brushes, it was pretty much through trial and error. I came across Spanky Valentine. She is really informative and detailed about which brush is to be used for what on your face. So since I had a hard time with eyeshadow, that was like my biggest pet peeve. I didn't know what to do. The only reason why I got this look right here is because I finally know my brushes. And it's very detailed and precise. The best time to buy makeup, brushes, sponges is really around any type of holiday. So when I got started, it was right around Labor Day. And BH Cosmetics, all of my brushes are pretty much from them, mainly because they're always having a sale, either 50% off, 60% off, 70% off. And then that way I can buy a lot of products at a cheap price, because you know this makeup game is expensive. So if you're a girl like me and you trying to be on a budget, buy around the holidays and buy a whole lot. It don't matter what you buy, just figure out how to use it. Buying makeup brushes, it's not really an art. You just kind of got to buy them as you see them once you figure out what you need. So the main thing to remember is you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive brush that you see in the store. So what I like to do is buy on a budget, and then once you figure out how to use that brush, then go ahead and buy a more expensive brush because it's going to be a lot better quality. That way, so you're not breaking the bank. And I'm pretty sure my husband appreciates this too. Learning brushes, it can be a bit overwhelming, but just keep in mind that practice makes perfect, and every time you use a brush and you figure out how to use it, it's going to make more and more sense. Alright, so the brushes that we talked about in the last video was the eyebrow brushes. So you have your small dome round blending brush that's going to help blend out that concealer right underneath your eyebrows. And how you do that is just dab it right underneath the eyebrow and on top of the eyebrow, and it'll be flawless, just like this look here. Then you also have your small angled brush. This is a BX Cosmetics brush, and it's a little slant on the end, but it's going to make sure that your pomade, when you put them on your eyebrows, is going to be very detailed, and it's only going to stay in one spot. It's not going to be all over your face. Then you have the Spoolie. The Spoolie is what's going to comb your eyebrow hairs that way so your eyebrows look very even. The flat liner brush is really going to help the concealer go along your eyebrows that way so that it is really like popping. And you can also hide your lines, any lines that you want with the concealer with this brush, because it gets really close to your eyebrows. Alright y'all, so the next brushes we're going to talk about is the eyes. This is where you can get really detailed, or you can just kind of keep it simple. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is this little thin, it's more like a cut crease brush. And this is the brush that I actually use to put on my primer before I actually put on the eyeshadow. Right, next we got this e.l.f. eye crease brush. This is a brush where you can apply color to your crease without it being all over your eye. So e.l.f. brushes are really, really affordable. They're like $2 and $3. So if you are on a budget, this is the brush to go because these brushes are really, really great. Okay, the next brushes we got are the shader brushes. Shader brushes, so this is a small, you got the small one, a medium one, and then you have more like a large one. I don't really use the large one too much, mainly because my eyelids really aren't that wide. But if for you, the large shader brush works for you, then use it. But basically what these brushes are for is to apply the color and pack it on. So of course you're going to have to pack it on in order to have the color more intensified, or if you just kind of want to do like a few taps and have it more like a soft look, you can definitely do that, but it really depends on you. Alright, on the blending brushes. So this blending brush is actually an Eco Tools brush that I actually got from Walmart, and it was one of the first brushes that I ever bought. This brush is used to get into it. Let's say you wanted to get into the center of the eye, but you didn't want to mess with anything else, and it would be more precise. So you have this brush. Then you have, this is just a regular old blending brush by e.l.f. It's kind of used as the same way, but it's a little bit thicker and it's a little more domey, but it's very, very soft. Then you have the pointed blending brush. The pointed blending brush is really for like smudging out those lines in your crease. If you don't want to use your crease brush again because it can kind of be a little too thick. But this one to get right into that crevice, and also it works for the corners too. Next you have the big fluffy blending brush, and that's just going to help diffuse color and mix it and also transition the different colors all together, and it'll be really, really pretty. Alright y'all, so now we get ready to throw in what I call wild cards or specialty brushes. So the brushes that we just talked about was just for eyes. These brushes, you can also use them for eyes as well. So we have the pencil brush. I actually just learned how to use this brush like 2 days ago. Really what this brush does is the exact same thing as what you call your smudge brush. So you can actually put this into the crease of your eye, and it'll give you a little bit more effect, but it'll keep the color strictly to the crease, whereas that crease brush will actually spread the color out a little bit further. Now we also have this smudge brush, and the smudge brush, you can kind of use it in your crease, or you can use it under your lower lash line, and it'll make sure that the color is kind of spread out. This pencil brush as well can be used under the lower lash line. It'll just make sure that the color will actually stay closer to your lower lash line, whereas the smudge brush will actually bring it down a little bit further depending on your preferences. Alright, so now we got the fine liner brush. This is a brush that you can actually put on your gel eyeliner with. And so I actually use this brush today to make sure that my peaks of my eyeshadow or liner around my eyeshadow actually look very precise and kind of clean. And this was the perfect brush for that. Next we have a concealer brush. So you can either use a concealer brush if you have one, or you can use a beauty blender, or sometimes what they call a sponge. It's a little dirty because I used it. But actually, if this sponge is damp and you kind of squeeze it like this and just put it underneath your eye, it blends out amazingly. Alright, so now we're going to jump into the face brushes. The face brushes are also important, mainly because your foundation, your highlighter, your blush, it needs to be in the right spot or you'll look crazy. Alright, so 2 foundation brushes. You got the flat foundation brush. This is where you actually apply the foundation. That way, so you can make sure that it's super even, because you don't want a whole lot of foundation on your face because then you gotta blend it out. So that's this brush. It's just really flat and it's also soft. It's also made by e.l.f. and it was only like, I think $3. And I got 2 of these. Next, you have the foundation brush that's kind of round and kind of domey, very soft. It's almost like a stipple brush, but it's more round. And so this is actually an It's Cosmetics brush, and I actually bought this from Ulta. And this brush was very expensive, more than what I wanted to spend at the time. But I've had it for about 3 to 4 years, and it still looks amazing. So basically what you do with this brush is you make sure that you have your foundation on already applied, and I'll kind of show you how to apply your foundation in another video, but you just kind of pat it on and it just spreads evenly around your face. Then you have a highlighter brush. This is the same brush that I used to try to actually put on eyeshadow with, but it's really for the cheeks, just to kind of get that glossy, glittery look, so that when you turn your face or your head, you'll actually be able to like see all the different glitters, and the light will actually bounce right off of your face with the highlighter. And this brush is very, very, I like this brush. I mean, it's really nice. And it's also by BH Cosmetics. Now we have the fan brush. So I just recently discovered what all you can do with the fan brush. I just thought it was for highlighter. So I know I said this brush, you can actually use it for highlighting your face, but it's just to make sure that your placement is all right and not all over the place. But you can actually do the same thing. So this is more for sheer application of highlight, and this is more intensified application for highlight. So if you really, really want to see it, use this type of a brush. If you kind of want to barely see it, and as you turn your face and you kind of want to see the glistening or the glitter in the highlighting product, but not too much, it's kind of really subtle, use the fan brush. Another good use is, let's say you put on your foundation before you put on your eyeshadow and you have fallout. Okay, well, you don't really want to wipe your face, because then you're wiping your primer off, your concealer off, your foundation off, and it's just a big mess. But this, you can just gently hit your face and that fallout will go away. Or let's say you want to put bronzer on into that contour, you can actually get into the crevice, and this would just be a sheer application, because by no means it cannot go into the nooks and crannies. So yeah, that's the fan brush. And actually this brush was like $1, y'all, $1. So don't go knocking your dollar stores, because Dollar General, Family Dollar, and this store in Texas called Miss A is where it's at for $1. Alright, y'all, so don't feel overwhelmed about all the brushes that we talked about. So it took me a while to figure out how to use them, what they for, and which area of my face I need to put them on. So each section of the brushes that we actually talked about today, I'm gonna make sure that whatever area of the face that I'm talking about next time, I'm gonna make sure that I talk about these brushes again. So you will constantly hear these brushes that way, so you can get practice. So next time we do another makeup session with my girls. Since we talked about brushes today, we're gonna talk about cleaning the brushes and what all that it entails. Like, oh, also we're gonna talk about expiration dates. That was something that I didn't know nothing about, and I tried to keep my makeup for like ever, but you cannot do that because of bacteria, and that's just nasty. Alright y'all, so tune into my next video and we're gonna learn all about